Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through how I created my DreamSnap for this week, DreamSnap's annual celebration. So just to take a look at what the requirements were, it was a decor challenge. It's the 1 year anniversary of DreamSnap, so host a grand party to celebrate the occasion with as many villagers as possible, balloons, decorations, fireworks, and your own unique style. And I already knew that this week was going to be a pain because of two statements within this description: as many villagers as possible and fireworks. So unfortunately, the fireworks that we get from the premium shop, which they did bring it back this week, surprise surprise, only go for about 30 seconds. I wish that they would just go indefinitely unless you turn them off, or that they at least went for longer than 30 seconds, because if you're trying to get villagers and the perfect shot coordinated, it's going to take longer than 30 seconds. And so you do this thing of running back and forth, trying to turn on the fireworks, run, get into your spot, hopefully that the villagers are cooperating to get your photo, and it's just impossible. It was incredibly frustrating. I usually try to do either only one or two villagers max. If I'm feeling extra, I'll do like three or four, but I already know that it's not going to be like amazing because they do not want to cooperate. I ended up getting, I think, 10 total in my in DreamSnap, but it took me 4 hours to do. And it only took me about an hour and a half to actually do my DreamSnap, as far as decorating, coming up with the concept, getting my outfit together, cooking meals to place on tables, and fidgeting excessively with my decorations, including the flowers and the balloons and different placements. So it really shouldn't have took me that long, but even being generous, it shouldn't take almost 6 hours to do a dream snap. And again, the majority of that was just trying to get those things to cooperate. And with this week, it really felt like if you did not have as many villagers as possible, if you didn't have fireworks and go all out, you're probably not going to get the votes, because people are probably going to be looking for that in the thing. So I had a lot of struggles. I show two different snaps in this montage of events, because I had the villagers that I thought I wanted and got a temporary shot, and then accidentally went in my house and it reset everything. I left it, was like, you know what, I'm not messing with this anymore. And that was after about an hour and a half that day. And then today I went back through it again on Saturday for another hour and a half trying to get a different photo, and finally did get one. But I couldn't get Oswald or Maribel, who I wanted in the picture really badly, because they just would not come out of their houses. And unfortunately, when I was doing it, Mickey was in Scrooge's shop, and I have to have Mickey in this picture. Like, that's not a question. So I had to go without Oswald and go without Maribel, but I think that the overall shot at the end really came together, and I'm very happy with it. And I'm happy that I took the extra hour and a half, as painful as it was, to go ahead and get that final shot and be happy with it, versus something that I settled for. So let's go ahead and get into the footage. I've been yapping quite a bit already, and want to show you how it all came out. So let's go ahead and cut to that footage. All right, so I wanted to do something with the castle, but didn't want to tear down my peaceful meadows or my plaza builds. So I tore down some stuff that was left over in my Forest of Valor and put the palace and then the Winter Palace turned around to try to make it look like a grand palace. And I used my house as well to have a second instance of the Winter Palace. And I kind of offset them a little bit and then used that as a disguise or front for the massive junk pile that is behind this build, which I tend to do for the tags. And um, I think it helps, but there's varying opinions on that. So I try my best to just include as many tags as I can without getting overboard. I've seen people have 200, 300 tags. I usually only go for 100-ish. So that's what I'm doing now is just junk piling tags behind here. And then remembered partway through this that I needed a way to turn on the fireworks. So I created a small, annoying path to turn on the fireworks and put some trees around and then tested what that would look like and ended up removing that Mickey water tower because I just didn't like the way it looked. So we are now trying to figure out what we're going to do for the foreground. I knew I wanted to include the celebration arches and the balloon clusters because the coloration of them just would look perfect with what I was wanting to do. It matches the castle really nicely, and I like the pinks and the golds as well. And I end up using this kind of opulent looking gem flooring as well, so I think that it all plays together well. So I use the balloon arches and clusters on both sides as well to kind of mirror that on the sides. We're using the colorful It's a Small World pillars on each side as well. And here I knew I wanted to include the big DJ booth on the right hand side, but I didn't know what I was really going to do otherwise. So I put down two of these elegant tables and end up doing like food in the front. Um, on the left hand side, kind of a tribute to my DreamSnap statue or trophy that I got from DreamSnaps. And then on the right hand side, it being kind of like a dance floor. And my idea was to have Jack Skellington as the DJ. With varying luck, I was able to get him to do his like mischievous back arched position, but unfortunately, this morning he absolutely would not do it. So I couldn't get that where he's like laughing. But I think that it ended up looking very nicely. I used the smaller DJ booth in front of it just to give it a little extra something, and I used the flower beds that I love with the kind of um, glowy sea life. I never know what they're called. I think they start with an A, but I put those back there for an additional glow behind the flowers, which doesn't really show up in the end photo too much, but I like the look of it. And then I skipped the trouble of making you watch me trap all these characters and put them into place. But I did use the um, it's not Baymax. It's Big Hero 6, a little tool set to trap them in because it's very low profile. Um, and then I just had Stitch kind of following behind me to get him into place behind me in my photo, to the side of me behind me is what I was wanting him to do. And then I have these luminescent flowers from the DLC out in front and the new um, cherry blossom piles leading up to the castle, as well as the lanterns as well. But I skipped ahead so you didn't have to watch me painstakingly move those a million times. This is the end result of the first iteration. I have about in the hundreds of each of the tags. I didn't love it. So I was going to go back here, turn on all the fireworks again, and keep trying over and over again. But unfortunately, this fireworks stand was too close to the door and I accidentally went inside and immediately, thankfully didn't have audio on, but immediately was so angry that I wasn't paying attention to that. And every single character that I had for like over an hour and a half here trying to get the good picture were gone. So I left it, but I noticed that not only is the cat covered, but also you could see my mailbox. So I went back, spent another hour and a half this morning to get this photo that I'm going to get here. I end up getting frustrated with Stitch because he was behind me and getting blocked. So I had to find a creative way to block him in, because if I used, and you can see my craziness with the tools on the ground to block all these characters, but if I did that with Stitch, because he's out in the open, you would be able to see every single one of those tools. So I wanted to incorporate items to block him in that could associate with the actual DreamSnap. So because he's always talking about his goodness level, and he's a very mischievous character, I put fireworks near him as my idea, and is like, no, Stitch, don't touch the fireworks type of thing. Unfortunately, the fireworks stand that is actually operable, you can still see through it and could see everything that I was trying to use, every low profile item I could find to try to block him in. So I end up moving that out and using the inoperable firework decoration, as well as the Encanto like celebratory box that has the little spinny wheels on it. I think it has maracas and different things in it, as the main source of blocking him in. And then two of the firework decorations, and then just one of the little tools, kind of um, the last little piece there. And thankfully, the little pile was able to block that one singular tool set, so that it looks like he's not blocked in, but he actually is. And then I was able to run back through for the millionth time and turn on all of the fireworks, paying very close attention to not touch near the doors when I did this, and then race back to my position and get the shot that I ended up going with. And I think it turned out great. I would rather have had Mickey looking forward like that instead of waving. However, Elsa is also kind of timidly waving at him as well, so it worked out perfectly. You can see everybody except for Donald is hidden behind the cake. But I absolutely love how this turned out. The fireworks look amazing. So let's go ahead and take a look at it a little bit closer. All right, so this is the end submission, and I like to look at it from the smaller perspective like this to make sure that my image is eye-catching and not overly dark or anything like that. And I think that it looks great this way. And then if you put it into full screen, it really shines. And I love that you're able to see every single character. That was accomplished by creating very small areas that they could actually move, to ensure that every single one of them was visible. Because in the first shot, Rapunzel had out her easel and was covering Moana and half of Jack as well. And so I put her over in the left corner. So if she pulled out her easel, she would only be blocking herself. And she was kind of going between that and this animation here where she's standing there. And Donald was going between standing behind the cake like he is now and throwing a tantrum. So with him, it was a wash. But I wanted Mickey and Minnie to be the focal point on the left hand side, and I didn't want anybody to really block the DreamSnap trophy as much as possible. Minnie is a little bit, but I think it's okay. Stitch is the star to me. I love Stitch, so he's right behind me. And I think that it turned out great. I don't think you can really tell here that he's trapped or the tools, which I made a point to utilize different things to hide that. The table is hiding a lot of it, but I had to angle my camera to the sky as much as possible to hide the ones behind the table near like Moana and Eric, as well as near Rapunzel as well. So I had to really work on my angles here. And then I did end up putting some of these starlight projectors behind Jack and one behind the trophy, which isn't super like eye-catching, but I think that it's a nice little touch. And overall, I think this really does signify my journey with DreamSnaps from the Royal Ball that we did in week 1 all the way till now. I've had a blast, and I really wanted to incorporate my nighttime shot into this. I do primarily nighttime shots, it feels like, for my DreamSnaps because I have a very specific way that I do mine. And it's kind of my quote unquote calling card at this point. That people know that I do night shots and I do bright night shots. So when it talked about your own unique style, I knew I had to do a night shot. And with the fireworks, I think it looks amazing at night. But yeah, I love how this turned out. I'm happy I took the extra time to fix the little things that I didn't like about it. And there's really not much about this that I don't like. Like I said, Mickey looking forward would have been better. Donald being in the picture probably would have been better. And Rapunzel doing her artwork facing the other direction where you could see what she was painting would have been like perfection. But for the amount of effort that was put into it, I think this is the best it was going to get. And I'm very happy with the end result here. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that I can't wait to see what everybody comes up with for this challenge. And I think it's going to be a fun one. So I will see you next time, and I hope you have a great rest of your night or day wherever you are. Bye. From me and Simba, apparently. See you later.